Hey guys, this is Bon Free from L World, and this is FoE Advance. Thanks for watching, and thanks those of you that follow me and have asked me where I've been and how I'm doing and demanding more videos, which I'm going to try to honor that a lot better than I have been. I'm going to have this video just be more about recapping Ephesus, what I'm doing here now. I've actually started my own guild, which I've not done in the past, at least for quite some time, especially not on E. And I want to go into the reasons I've started my own guild, and hoping that for those reasons, and based on my guild description, things like that, I'm wanting to help others grow and so forth, that I will attract like-minded players that can come and go as they want. We're not planning, I don't want this guild to be competitive per se in GBG and QI. I want it to be qualitative, right? So right now, I would say I'm in sort of like maintenance mode, semi-burnout, but I'm not quitting the game at all. I just don't want to get 1,000 to 5,000 fights per session, per season. I enjoy QI, so I'm doing that here in this little guild. We've had a couple of people join just actually today. We got Bear, who is a good friend. He's been in some of the top guilds on this server, and Jubal, who's played for a long time. He reached out to me. They both follow the channel, and I said, hey, if you kind of like what's going on here, hey, come on over. And they sort of reached out. So the idea is for us to not be a taskmaster driven guild, to be super generous. Like I don't have a 180 yet. I want to talk about a little bit about my focus, and again, I'm going to recap sort of what's happened here in more detail, but about this new guild, and you'll see some dumb GBs here. I'll talk about that too. So I decided, hey, I don't want to have these minimums. I want to continue to do what the tip of the spear is for me, which is to spend down my 200,000 diamonds, which I've almost done, see how far I could get, and truly embrace the reality that in 10 years of freemium gameplay, for the most part in L World, this city has already surpassed in 7-ish months with spending diamonds what that city is capable of over there now. So the creep is real, the spending is real, and I mean that's fine. Like, spending isn't for everybody. A lot of the freemium events, you can get some cool stuff, and I like the fact that like Uber Nerd, he talks about really focused on like, hey, this isn't, you don't have to do the gold thing, the chests. This is what you can get for not spending, and I love that about Uber's channel, and about the game still, right? I know it gets ridiculed for the spend creep and so forth, but I'll tell you, you get some bang for the buck in terms of, especially if you buy the 200% offer when and if those ever show up. Being that I'm down to 5,000 diamonds, I don't know if I'll ever see one for another year, God knows what. But anyhow, so regarding a little bit more about the guild I've started. So the idea is, keep it simple. We're going to do battlegrounds, but this is just me because I'm in this lame-o little copper or whatever. I'm not buying any support buildings in GBG because the treasury is brand new. So as players join, we can work on that and build out the treasury. Then we can grow into doing more GBG. Again, not competitively, and QI not competitively, but it's there. So the players that want to join here for a short or long period of time can get help. They can practice QI. Get access to when I'm on, I can answer questions and things like that, and really just want to create a learning atmosphere guild, right? So my version of being competitive in this game is to do what I've been focused on, which is to maximize events, spend diamonds, get crazy, get a crazy city, get my arc to 180 with building as few GBs as possible, other than this virus I caught of doing goofy buildings. And I guess I'll explain that. So I'm continuing to focus my forge point spend on my arc. It's up to 165. as you can see, I mean, you know the math, it gets really expensive on the owner's contribution. So I can flip my arc based on my current collections every 2 to 3 days, which is fantastic. I mean, I've got to put in about 35,000 points, and for a short time my doubled up Forgotten Temples, I'm really been increasing my forge point income. So I'm leveraging that as much as I can. In fact, I'm burning some FSPs, finished special productions, and some finished all specials. That way, I can really, um, leverage what I'm getting in an FP bonus from the two Forgotten Temples. So so the Virgo and the Oracle. So the last guild I was in, Thunderstorm, it was a great guild, by the way. I had a lot of fun there. They get a lot of ridicule because they change their name like sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and it's just all in good fun. And a lot of times the guild changes the names to be germane to maybe who they're fighting in GBG or whatever. And it's a guild that stresses fun over the competitive nature of things. So in a sense, that guild has been a great fit for me. At the same time, I felt like there was a lot going on. There was just a lot of threads, a lot of people sort of coming and going on the lower 20%, and they'd get full, and all that's great, but I just felt like I needed to chill a little bit more, keep it small for a while, be qualitative over quantitative. So the players that have reached out to me here on E, I'm trying to backtrack and figure out who they are so they know that I've started a new guild. If they want to join and check it out, that's fine. So the Virgo and the Oracle came out of me joining Thunderstorm because they just thought it'd be funny to just have like level 200 Oracles. So I said, yeah, that's I like to play the game with a sense of humor and not take things too seriously. Otherwise, it just feels like work, right? And that's, again, from a guild health standpoint, I don't want this to feel like work. I want this to be exploratory, fun, and enjoying the journey, right? Instead of just only looking for the competitive result. I think you have those players out there that are looking purely, to dominate and to be the strongest and have the most fights. That's fine. I mean, this game allows for that, but that's not my jam. So I'm going to continue leveling my Oracle because I think it's funny and cool, and it doesn't take up too much opportunity in my city. I doubt I'm going to keep the Virgo. I actually built it because one of the other guild members over at TS built one, and he was just saying how great it was, like, to help him through like the higher levels of GE, if you time it all right. But I don't really need that because my stats are high enough, so I can get through that pretty well. But honestly, I'd never built this thing, and it goes way back to, I believe Uber Nerds talked about this too, the fact that nerfed this building after it came out, which I'm not a great historian, but I think this was the first example of really changing the core function of a great building. So here at that time, Virgo was new for Sam. We invested in it. Those that did, I was like skeptical at first, so I didn't buy into it. And then players complain, they're like, it's too powerful for PvP, so they nerfed it and took away its powers for PvP. And so what I've inadvertently done is created some messaging traffic for other players going, hey, why'd you build a Virgo? Is there something cool going on? And I'm like, no, it's just, I just built it because it's stupid, and I wanted to see the mechanic of the missiles like falling into the enemy troops. It's pretty cool, actually. So that's one thing. I don't normally supervise my fights. I auto battle all the time, but in QI, obviously this doesn't apply to QI. I manually fight, of course, most of the time. I actually like manually fighting in QI. It's not totally necessary all the time, but when I know I'm going to have a high attrition, opposition, the enemy setups, if they have a lot of horses, I tend to manually fight because I just use mostly 8 ballistas. So we can talk about QI strategy in another video, but anyhow, that's the reason for the Virgo. I've only leveled it up to 18, and I'm probably going to kill it because it's big enough that it's going to impede other valuable things. It's just in the way, opportunity cost. So again, I came here to do a really stripped down version of the game, starting from the mud. So I've tried to stay true to that. I've got a blue galaxy that when I have extra FP that I can't bank, I just I throw it into the BG, and of course the BG has been great for collecting and stuff like that as well. The arc, of course, is slowed down a lot. Like I got to 120 pretty fast, and then between 20 and 165, it's really slowed down, which makes sense. But those are the main GBs. I built a seed vault because I just like it. It's one of the you can get some diamonds off of it. I like the fact that it throws off some bonus stuff. And so again, I needed places to sort of stick excess FP, even in a large guild when I couldn't bank it on swaps, or on investment threads. Let's go back to the overall situation of growth here. So when I came here, I was sort of drawn by the New World situation, sort of the feeling, like the kumbaya vibe that was going on. Mostly experienced players helping each other out, helping out newer players that weren't experienced. Still some of that vibe here. I'd say there's been quite a few shifts, just in terms of the stuff that happens on public chat and, fracturing guilds that have, just broken up over personalities, things like that. And, I'll spare all the gory details, but, we have some pretty competitive guilds here, but not enough competitive guilds to where, honestly, from a competitive standpoint, it's a bit of an eye roll. It's always like, if you're in the top 3 or 4 guilds, it seems like you're always in battlegrounds with the top 3 or 4 guilds, right? And it just gets to be kind of like very repetitive and not that exciting. And, this brings up a memory I have from a number of players that have left the game, experienced high-level fighters who are like, until changes the matching concept and allows it to go across multiple worlds, so therefore we create a much bigger pot of stew, if you will, to pull from, to have worthy and well-matched opposition in guild battlegrounds. They're like, yeah, I'm just bored, so I'm quitting. And we haven't seen that. Of course, we've seen other features be introduced and such, and so there you have it. So I think that's yet another reason that I decided to start a somewhat non-competitive guild, was just so that we could focus on qualitative growth and these micro strategies versus a lot of other things. So actually, I wanted to talk about just stats in terms of like, how have I progressed. So my daily collection, depending on a lot of things, right? The stacked temples and of course the BG, things like that. I've been able to eke out about 15,000 FP a day from this city, and that continues to grow because I keep making the Yukamoto towers. I can't keep making empires because I ran out of the upgrade thing for that, but I still can make towers, which are still pretty cool. And yeah, so like I said, it ranges between 10 and 15,000 a day, just depending on what I'm doing with the different features, right? With the Blue Galaxy, finished special productions, things like that. And then in terms of my battle stats, I am actually a happy accident, if you will, from just being in spending mode, was my QI stats. So if you've been playing the last, 6, 7, 8 months, you've seen that most of the event related buildings that have been introduced give you some kind of QI buff. So as it turns out, when I went kind of crazy on the Halloween event, or the October event, I ended up with quite a bit of buff from certain buildings, and that's been increased by some of the recent events. So I sort of just fell into being pretty powerful in QI because of all that. Red team is much stronger than blue team. So now when I choose things, I just don't play blue team if I can avoid it. You know, I try to focus on red team. Thankfully, my blue stats have come up a bit, but you know, stats, even when my stats on the red swords were like around 400, I could go really far in QI. So at this point, you know, it's as much as I really need. I don't build any like additional support buildings in QI for battle stats, anything like that, which is nice. Keeps QI really simple for me, which I like. I don't, you know, a lot of people are struggling with QI, and I'm going to do another recording just about QI and some of those details. Okay, so back over to like GE stats, or sorry, Guild Expedition. You know, 10,000 plus on those swords, 8,000 defense, and then Battlegrounds. You know, same kind of thing, basically. You know, 10.5, 8.5. I generally don't look at the defense that much, but it does help because obviously we have those kind of sectors. So I'm quite happy with these stats. I mean, I should be for having spent a couple 100,000 diamonds, which of course allowed me to, you know, get some pretty cool stuff. I mean, I ended up in the top 5% of the event. I forget the names of the events, but anyway, the one that got the Eternum Hydro Pool. So this is going to continue to make Astral Viaticum Lighthouse selection kits, gold selection kits, which is over time going to be pretty amazing. And got a number of these Orcrest Fjords, which have incredible stats for one building. I mean, just stupid, actually. So yeah, anyway, that's sort of the overview of you know, the review of where I've come from and where I've arrived. And if you are on E or wanting to join E, you know, hit me up. Not trying to make the guild super crazy huge, but you know, for those of you that are interested or you're already here on E, hit us up and I'll answer any questions you have. And join, don't join, that's whatever, you know, I'll send you an invite if you're interested. So anyway, that's what I got for today. Thank you for watching my videos and for reaching out and encouraging me to, you know, stay in the game and record videos. So yeah, anyway, for John, and we'll see you in the next one.